Welcome to Real Estate Exposed, helping people in San Diego buy, sell, and refinance their biggest investment, delivering you timely truths, exposing important issues, and helping you get into the right home. Here are your hosts, real estate expert Daniel Beer, top-ranked professional by sales volume at one of San Diego's largest brokerages, and his mortgage partner, Todd Pianin, with over $2 billion in funded loans.
Happy anniversary, baby. Got you on my mind.
That was our...
Well, welcome to our 52nd episode, 1 year here of Real Estate Exposed on News Radio 600 KOGO. It's been a wonderful partnership with the team here at iHeartMedia, our producer Mike, Denise, our wonderful exec here at iHeart, and I'm Daniel Beer, the Daniel Beer Group with Todd Pianin, Home Street Bank. It's been a great ride, Todd.
It has been so much fun, and we've learned so much, and we've done so much. I mean, just a couple of highlights, Dan, for the year. I mean, do you believe that we've had, I'm counting them now, we've had almost 15 guests on the show, which has been awesome. We've talked about, low inventory in the marketplace. We've talked about mortgage rates. We've talked about, the presidential election. We've talked about everything. The one thing that we haven't committed to, Dan, which I think you should commit to today, is our Super Bowl bet, because we're already a month past the Super Bowl, and you haven't committed to our Super Bowl bet.
You want to give your calendar open?
I will open it right now. Do you have your calendar open?
Mm-hmm. So if you weren't with us for our Super Bowl show, I made a very poor mistake, which was to gamble on anything, because I could gamble on the sky being blue. It'll turn black, or it'll turn purple or red, or something will happen to it. There's something about me and gambling that just doesn't work out.
Yep.
I do a lot of things well. I frequently make things go my way a lot of the time in a lot of different arenas, right?
Right.
From just for whether it was sports growing up, whether it was
things go your way or don't go your way.
No, they do.
Oh.
Whether it was sports growing up, or with friends, or with luck, or with finding my beautiful wife, or with my wonderful son, or with work, or with establishing one of the top real estate teams in the entire country. There is a lot of things that go my way, Todd.
Right.
But, man, if you want to kill momentum on anything, just ask me to bet on it. And I bet on the Super Bowl.
With me?
With Todd here. And, of course, the team I bet on lost. And so I now have to join Todd at a, upscale restaurant with nothing but a vest on. No shirt under, no nothing, just simply a vest. And I have to pay for the...
And you got to pick up for dinner.
I have to pay for the pleasure of making a fool out of myself.
Exactly.
So you hear, I'm glad Todd can chuckle at it. I'm going to just, I guess, do what I'm supposed to do and follow through here as a man on this bet. But how does Wednesday work for you, Todd? The 30th of March.
Wednesday the 30th.
Wednesday the 30th.
Can't do Wednesday the 30th of March.
Well, then the rest of my year's booked already.
Okay, what about it? Mike can. That's our producer. A shout out to Mike for a great 1 year. Thank you, Mike.
Thursday the 31st.
Thursday the 31st. Can I do that? I can do that, Dan.
You're on for dinner Thursday the 31st. We'll set a place and time, but we'll do this sometime between 6 and 7. We'll update the audience in case anyone wants to come and see me make a fool out of myself. But so that's that. But here's the other thing that we have gotten done, and we've done very well on Real Estate Exposed, is we have exposed the truth consistently around real estate myths and issues and all the BS and smoke and mirrors that you're fed by all of your common, whether they be, the agent community, the national media, the lender community, and frequently not even anybody in our industry, but simply what you hear from neighbors or from friends or from, just people that aren't even part of the industry, that are not actively selling, buying, financing homes on a regular basis, who then tell us certain things because of the one time they had an experience with who knows who, and of course their experience becomes the rule of law. Right. And so we have exposed the truth on a variety of issues. Why do agents take overpriced listings? What is the real nature of an appraisal? What is the biggest mistake that buyers make? How to actually buy a home with little down, what that really means. Because it means, it's such an easy thing to say, but it means more, and you have to understand why and what it is. How to actually structure an offer. Why people, we've exposed the truth on what cash buyers do out there often. They tie properties up and then do what's called retrading. Well, how do you actually identify that? How do you get to their motivation? How do you know if you're going to be retraded, which means they tie you up under contract and then try to renegotiate terms with you once they've gotten rid of the competition. So these are some of the things that we've done here on Real Estate Exposed, and we always like to find places where we can bust, those smoke and mirrors, bust these myths, and let you know what the real deal is and how our industry really operates, what truly motivates your agent and buyers and sellers so that you could best position yourself. And it's been a great ride.
Yeah, it's been a great ride. I'm looking forward to the next 12 months because we just signed our other contract. So we're going to be around for a while, and I'm super excited. I mean, some important things to talk about, though, is, coming up, I think, after the break, we should talk about what's happened in the mortgage industry recently.
Yeah, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to break on Real Estate Exposed, and we're going to talk about big shakeups in the mortgage industry. They're going to affect you and the way you do business. They're affecting the way we do business. So we're going to touch on that. We're going to take our pulse on the market. What's really happening out there? People continue to make assumptions about the market and positioning and time of year that just are not based in fact or in truth. And we're also going to take a look at a little case study on a deal that we just did where thankfully, we did what we're supposed to do, which is cross-qualify our buyer with Home Street Bank. Todd Pianin right here, he cross-qualified a buyer that another lender wasn't able to perform. We're going to find out from Todd why couldn't that lender perform while Todd was able to or is being able to. And so we're going to dive deep on those issues plus more, whatever's important to you. And if you ever need to connect with us directly, you, of course, can reach out. The number's 800-676-2420. 800-676-2420 is your direct line to any financing, buying, or selling questions that you have, and let's make some money together. We're going to be back next with that. We're looking forward to an awesome Sunday here with you. Hey, welcome back to Real Estate Exposed. I'm Daniel Beer. The Daniel Beer Group at Windermere Real Estate. Todd Pianin.
Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank, TNTMTG.com. Taisha and I are here to help you anytime.
The lender of choice for the Daniel Beer Group. And again, it happened where, thank goodness, we've adapted the policy of cross-qualifying our buyer. I'm going to talk to you right now. If you're selling your home, you must adapt this strategy, okay?
Adopt.
You must
Adopt. Not adapt. Adopt.
God, Todd, I'm from Mexico City, and I'm speaking my second language.
I know.
This is my second
Do
language.
you still dream in Spanish, by the way?
I might not know that many words in English, but I know more words than most people cumulatively between my two languages. Okay?
This is true.
So, Todd is, or if you're selling your home, you need to adopt this strategy, and it's a must. Okay, what we've done in our business in order to protect our sellers, in order to not lose their deals to lenders that cannot perform and who overpromise, is we now cross-qualify buyers on our listings. We will ask that the buyer cross-qualify for their loan with Todd and his team at Home Street Bank, Todd and Taisha. And the reason for it is that it's just too easy. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to get a pre-approval letter from a lender? I mean, have you ever noticed that most people have an uncle, a friend, a cousin, a hairdresser that also does loans on the side and can issue a pre-approval letter with very little, just without even blinking an eye? Well, you have to protect yourself against that. You need to, as a seller, actually have a lender that is in your corner and qualifying every buyer that comes through for your home. Todd, what exactly is it you do with these buyers, where we'll get 2, 3, 4 offers on one of our listings, and then we put them in touch with you. What does that process look like so you could give us a green light or a red light?
Well, we do one of two ways, right? We don't want to make it real difficult on them. So if they've got a lender they're working with, we'll say the lender can send us over the information that we need. But what you like to have happen is we also tell them that if you really want your offer to be more considered, we would like you to send me directly the information and fill out our online app, which basically takes somebody about 5 minutes to do. It's a no-brainer. It's something super easy to be done, and then we get the file completely pre-approved for you before we give you the green light. So that way we know that we can come through in the pinch if something goes wrong, or at least that way you can go back to your sellers and say these are real buyers who really can qualify for the mortgage.
So on this recent one, because it's a real world example, we're in the middle of it right now as we speak.
Yep.
We have a deal where we did have a pre-approval letter from a actually recognized lender, a
national lender, actually.
Lender that I'm familiar with. We have their pre-approval letter. We thankfully, of course, got them cross-qualified with you. You gave us a green light on them. And then their lender rejected the file once we were already under contract. You come in and you're able to do the loan. Why can't they do it? Why can you do it with your team at Home Street?
Because the difference is that lender who's a national lender is a mortgage banker, not a bank. And so this loan that we're talking about in particular is a jumbo mortgage. So basically, they don't have a lot of jumbo product, and they're not used to doing a lot of jumbo product. They're not used to dealing with sophisticated either. And so this buyer, super sophisticated, owns a couple corporations, has a lot of different money that comes from a lot of different sources, and a lot of mortgage bankers who are, I would call, like, not a real bank, like we are a brick and mortar bank. We operate differently. And I'm nothing badly to say, but we have more control. We underwrite the loans ourselves. We have a portfolio we can put loans on, and we know we can get something done, and we know how to get it done. And we're in this deal, we're going to get closed for you in less than 21 days.
It's something that you need to put in place. And by the way, if you're buying a home, do not please get romanced by a lender that tells you what you're just hoping to hear. Because here's the thing. This man here sitting next to me, Todd, he consistently will lose deals on a monthly basis to lenders that will overpromise.
Right.
Okay, but here's the truth. He understands the guidelines better than anybody. His team, him and Taisha and their underwriters, they know and will be truthful with you. What are you truly approved for? What will you qualify for? I recently had one of my best friends who is doing a loan.
Yep.
And is speaking right now with you and Taisha. He's actually speaking mostly with Taisha.
Right.
And he called me and said, maybe I should find out if someone will give me more money. I said, you please don't do that. Someone might tell you they'll give you more money, but will they actually fund the loan? I've been there more than enough times to know that the answer to that question is absolutely not. They don't have a secret, money market to go to.
Right.
They are just simply trying to tie you up. Why? Because they don't do that much business. Because they are hoping that they can get themselves a deal somehow, some way, and that a miracle comes through. When you're working with a professional like Todd and his partner Taisha, what happens is they don't need to over-romance you with just getting your hopes up in order to try to hang on your deal somehow, some way, when they know it won't end up happening at the end, because they have an actual thriving business. That's the type of person you want to be working with.
And we have another deal right now, Dan, not from your team, but from another lender that we told everybody the deal couldn't get done the way the client wanted it done. So the client moved on, went to a different lender, went someplace else, found out 30 days later that they couldn't get the deal done, and we're closing the loan for the guy on Friday, doing it the way we told him to get it done. We hear this all the time. A lot of clients don't like to hear that we can't do certain things. They don't like to hear no. They don't like to hear, they want to hear the best interest rate that's out there. Well, I mean, I have to say that it's kind of, we operate in a world of truth and reality, and that's how you want, especially, you and your team, you request that we don't sort of blow sunshine up someone's,
Tuchus.
Yes, tuchus.
So,
I mean, we don't do that. And
exactly.
And that's how we operate. And a lot of people don't like to. They want their lender to sort of tell them what they want to hear, and then they overpromise and underdeliver. It's like a common practice. It's just becoming common practice in our industry, and it's really disappointing. I mean, it's really, really disappointing.
If you want to connect with a lender that'll shoot you straight, call Todd and his team at Home Street. The number's 800-676-2420. Todd and Taisha at Home Street Bank. 800-676-2420. Ask to speak with Todd or Taisha if you're refinancing, you're buying, or if you're selling, but you want to make sure to get your cross-qualification lender in place. By the way, they don't charge a penny for it. They will just give you the service of cross-qualifying every buyer. And look, just as a public service, at least get somebody in place to do the cross-qualification. Sure. Somebody you know will 100% have your best interest at heart and understands the nature of a true fiduciary their true fiduciary responsibility to serve you in your best interest rather than their own. Get somebody in place if for whatever reason you're not going to do the smart thing here and put Todd and Taisha in your corner. 800-676-2420. So
the other thing I want to talk about, Dan, is a lot of change. You know, we've talked about TRID and all the disasters that have taken place in the marketplace right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, we just saw a lender that's been around since the financial crisis, a company called W.J. Bradley. I think you've done some business with them in the past.
I actually always thought they were great.
They were a very technologically advanced company. They, you know, had good product. They had great loan officers. And I sent you an email last week that basically they shut their doors. Why'd they shut the doors? Because we talked about this a couple weeks ago about how expensive it is to do this new process called TRID and have compliance in place.
So they were a victim of Dodd-Frank.
They're a victim of Dodd-Frank.
They're a victim of Congress reaching way too far into, too far after, and continuing to punish the mortgage industry while it's actually behaving quite nicely.
Correct. We have the greatest vintage of borrowers we've seen in umpteen years. And now there's another rumor on the street, Dan. This is what's blowing me away.
Yeah,
other rumor on the street is that PHH, which was the fourth largest mortgage seller servicer in the country, may be closing their retail doors as well. It's a rumor on the street, hasn't been vetted out yet, so I say rumor, but they're saying the same issues that we're talking about with this TRID. I mean, you're seeing major collapses of major institutions, and so, you know, it's a scary time. And so that's why we chose to go work with Home Street Bank, because Home Street has, you know, done everything unbelievably under the sun to make sure that TRID happens. But you're going to see other mortgage brokers fall. You're going to see potentially other mortgage banks fall. I mean, we've talked about this. It's just the beginning. It's really expensive to make this happen.
Why do you think that the government, CFPB, and all the regulatory bodies out there are so just aggressive with the mortgage industry so many years after? Because here's the truth. The mortgage industry did misbehave.
Yes.
Badly. Horrifically.
Yes.
And if you haven't yet watched the movie Big Short,
you should.
I have to tell you, go watch this thing. It is so good, so well explained.
Yep.
It goes into a ton of detail while being simple enough to understand. I learned so many things from the movie that I understood, but not really, and it gave me clarity. Go watch the movie. The industry misbehaved badly, but has been, frankly, an upstanding citizen
since then
for years.
Yes.
A good 7 years.
Yes.
Why? Or gosh, longer. We're going on almost 8 years of it. Why are they still so focused on putting these regulations in place that crush business? Or is it just that they didn't possibly understand how difficult it would be to comply with everything they're asking you to do?
So basically, I'm going to give you my 1 second answer to that, is that that Dodd-Frank was created by the big banks of the world, and Dodd-Frank is trying to derail all the other mortgage companies that are out there. So, I mean, that's the answer. So big banks who have massive balance sheets, who can afford to spend the money for compliance and do all the things that need to be done. The goal is that you are not going to get a mortgage from your local mortgage broker like you normally do. They want to put that guy out of business.
Makes a lot of sense. And that's why we like working with Home Street. They have the funds of a big bank or medium-sized bank, but they operate, just like you just call them on their cell phone. do business on the weekend. Hey, we're going to be back on Real Estate Exposed. We are happy to be with you on our 52nd episode, our 1-year anniversary. We're coming up next with talking about buyer frustrations in the marketplace and how you can beat them.
Happy anniversary, baby. Got you on my mind.
Real Estate Exposed. Welcome back to our 52nd episode. It is our 1-year anniversary. We are so happy to be sharing our Sunday mornings with you, educating you on what you need to know order to bust. Yeah, Todd, I'm trying to look at you not dancing. I know you're dancing, that's why I'm looking this way. What you need to know in order to bust so many myths, so much, all the smoke and mirrors, all the misperception, all of the things we hear from big media. Well, we're going to get to the truth of it here. This is Real Estate Exposed. Daniel Beer, Todd Pianin. You have one of the top 150 agents in the entire country, okay? One of the top 8 here in San Diego County among 23,000. You have one of the most effective lenders in all of Southern California. You have how much in funded loans over your career, Todd?
Over $1 billion.
Over $1 billion in funded loans.
I think we're cruising probably top 20 at Home Street Bank right now.
Across the country.
Across the country.
And so you're talking about a group where hopefully we can share a lot of experience and wisdom with you. And that's important, by the way, only because, and here's why it's important, you really do know how much business we do and have done and continue to do. It's because that's where your agent gets their experience. That's where your lender gets their experience. Unfortunately, in our industry, it is just far too easy to get licensed and start doing what we do. Far too easy, and there's just so much clutter for you, the buyer, the seller, the person refinancing, so much clutter for you to sift through until you can finally find a professional that treats their business like a business. And so when, because you just have to fog a mirror and boom, you're licensed, it is really critical that you find out how much business your chosen professional does, because that is where their experience comes from. And so hopefully we can share a lot of wisdom with you. And we are going to talk about the fact that we have just gotten our 50th deal of the year under contract. So let me repeat that. The Daniel Beer Group, my little team, we just put our 50th deal of the year under contract. So, and your average agent's going to sell three to four homes all year. So 50 homes under contract this year. Why does that matter to you? Because that is a picture into just how active the marketplace is when you allow yourself to put a strategy in place that can capture the entire market, drive demand to your home. And a lot of those 50 deals were buyer transactions. How are we helping our buyers get ahead of cash buyers? How are we helping our buyers win in multiple offers? There are strategies that you need to know about because, Todd, how many frustrated buyers do you talk to on a weekly basis that are constantly losing out in the multiple offer environment that we're experiencing across the county?
All the time. And I have to tell you, of those 50 deals, I think we are working with 20 of those people. So, I mean, the frustration that I hear from buyers constantly, especially the first-time home buyers, who are trying to get into the marketplace at a $500,000, at the $400,000 to $700,000 price range. I mean, I'm talking to people that have written offers upon offers upon offers, and I have a conversation with them. I'll say, hey, what's your agent not doing, or what is your agent doing that is helping you? And they're like, I mean, Dan, what do your buyer's agents do differently than a majority of the rest of the buyer's agents out there? I mean, we always tease Brian Danny on your team that he's the one and done guy. When he writes an offer up, it boom gets into escrow.
Well, it's about a number of things, from offer presentation to what are you even making an offer on, and it has to do with setting expectations.
Right.
Okay. If you're buying a home right now, I hate to say it, but right now, your agent's job isn't to go be some kind of superhero. A lot of you have superhero agents that are constantly trying to get you the deal of the century. And what you've experienced is you haven't bought anything yet, that you're still renting, you still haven't moved, you still haven't gotten to Arizona or to this place, or you still haven't been able to make the move that you want to make. Because your agent's too focused on being a superhero. They're trying to do their third, fourth, fifth, sixth deal of the year, and they're trying to prove themselves in the industry.
Right.
And they are just positioning you in a way where they just don't understand the marketplace. And this marketplace, like I was going to say, and I hate to say, your agent's job right now is to get you the house you want. Not to try and blow the pants off the market, not to try to get you a $500,000 home for $450,000. It doesn't exist. It isn't out there. I promise you that does not exist in this marketplace. You will not be buying a $500,000 home for $450,000. You won't be buying it for $470,000. Your agent's job right now is to educate you properly, have you understand exactly what homes like the one you're going for have sold for,
right?
Position you for in a way where you're able to purchase probably at full market value, and get you ahead of the other 3 or 4 people that are also making offers. If you're frustrated with the process, if you've made, I was recently talking with somebody in Santee that's made literally about a dozen offers on properties.
And hasn't hit.
And this is over 3 years. Every time she likes a home, she makes an offer.
And she loses it.
And she loses it to somebody else. Why during that time when she's losing her offers to somebody else are our buyer agents on the Daniel Beer Group, why are they getting their offers accepted even when we are dealing with FHA buyers, VA buyers, low down payment, or conventional?
Well, it's amazing. I mean,
very little cash we're dealing with right now.
It's amazing, too. You have Jessica who just joined your team as a buyer's agent. She's already put four transactions into escrow.
It's about being able to properly get the thing presented, Todd. So there's a few things.
Well, one thing before you go through the few things, I want to just let our listeners realize this. 50 transactions in escrow, that's almost like a real estate company. Let me explain to you, there are real estate companies out there right now that would love to have 50 transactions in escrow right now. So what Dan's going to tell you, take to heart, write it down, pull over to the side of the road if you're driving. This is what these are great tips for you that he's giving away secrets, because I'm telling you, he brought on a buyer's agent just at the beginning of the year. She's already put 4 deals in escrow. I know that we closed her first transaction for her. What he does works. So I'm telling you, it works.
There are things that, so when you're presenting the offer, we go into so much, cover letters, pictures, video. It's about communication. So often as a listing agent, I'll get an offer from a buyer's agent that just pops into my inbox, but they don't even call me. They don't talk to me. Right now I'm negotiating on a couple of different properties where we have multiple offers for our sellers. And guess who's getting the property? It's not just the person that wrote the highest price. And in fact, on one of them, it's not. It's the person that's being the most, that's given us the most confidence that we'll be able to close. The person that's listened. The person that called and said, "What's important to you? What are your hot buttons? What are the deal points we need to hit? What does your client want to accomplish?" And when we have dialogue like that, and when your agent understands how to have proper dialogue with the other side, you'd be amazed that it's not just you, the buyer, that's being selected by the seller. They're also, if they have a smart agent on the other side, they're also selecting your agent. They're choosing the buyer. They're choosing you. They're also choosing your agent. And so you need to have a proper presentation and communication plan in place in order to get yourself ahead of everybody else. At the end of the day, all the offers are just a bunch of numbers in writing on a piece of paper. How can you make yours more human and more appealing and connect with that seller?
How many smart agents are really out there, Dan?
You know what? The truth is there are actually a lot of them, Todd, but it seems sometimes like there aren't, because there's 23,000 people licensed in this city, in this county, which is just absolutely, utterly insane.
Right.
That it's the nature of a high price point market. As you look across the country, most markets out there across the country, for every home on the market, for every agent that's licensed, there are about 4 homes on the market. In San Diego County, because of our high price point, you actually have, for every 1 home on the market, you have 4 licensed agents. And It's because so many people get licensed hoping to do that $1 million deal and They just, they watch too much $1 Million listing and they think that's going to be their life. And so they get licensed and they end up finding out that the truth is it's extremely competitive, completely different from that. But basically, that's what we were talking about in the last segment, Todd. There's so much clutter. There are some wonderful agents in the city, really amazing people. Some agents in the city that I actually talk to and mastermind with, and we share ideas, and they're just really good. But you have to sift through a lot of clutter before you can find them.
One of the things that you always say at the Home Seller Seminar, Dan, and I highly recommend this, again, when I'm telling you to pull over to the side of the road, this is one of those moments. Dan says, when someone comes to your house on a listing appointment, ask them to see how many homes they've sold in the last 12 months. That's very, very, very important. How many homes have they sold in the last 12 months?
Yeah, you have to get to the bottom line on what is their actual experience level. But when you're a buyer going through the frustration of the current market, there's one other thing that you need to know. There's one other key factor that you need to put in place in order to get your home successfully or your offer successfully accepted. A key ingredient we're going to share with you coming back out of the break, and you're going to want to stay with us for this. This is the real stuff here, okay? This is the nuts and bolts of how you take our show and all the things we learn together here on a weekly basis and implement them for a successful positioning strategy in our current market. Don't miss that and connect with us. You're listening to Real Estate Exposed on News Radio 600 KOGO. The phone number to call in is 800-676-2420. That number one more time is 800-676-2420, and we're going to be right back with that. You won't want to miss it. Hey, welcome back, Real Estate Exposed.
Our 1-year anniversary.
On News Radio 600 KOGO, iHeartMedia. It's been great. It's been great. And we're going to share the one missing ingredient, the big thing you need to have in place. If you're a frustrated buyer in this marketplace, you've put multiple offers in on properties, you're missing out. Your agent isn't positioning you to beat the cash buyers, which, believe me, can be beat. They're not positioning you to beat the big down payment, which, believe me, can be beat. One of the things that's missing for you is when you have a Home Street Bank pre-approval letter attached to an offer, it is very different than having a pre-approval from most any other lender.
Thanks,
Agents
Dan.
out there recognize the power of a Home Street pre-approval. They treat it like it's cash. And that's one of the reasons that we have so many of our clients talk to Todd in Home Street. Todd, what does it look like when you get a pre-approval letter in place? Why are yours so much more solid than most of what we see out there? And we are then able to use your pre-approval letter to convince the other agent on behalf of our buyer that our client is as good as cash, but guess what? They're not going to retrade you. They're not just tying the property up. They're not just flexing muscle. We are representing somebody that truly wants to live in the home and wants to make it theirs for their family. And when you can inject that emotion with the financial security of a Home Street Bank pre-approval letter, that is where all of that comes together. And Todd, why are your pre-approval letters just so much perceived so differently in the marketplace than everybody, or at least than most other people's?
Because because for most agents who do a lot of business, they know that Home Street's closing on time. We're delivering what we promised to our clients. When we don't blow sunshine up someone's tuchus, as Dan has said earlier. So I can tell you that we've helped multiple buyers, especially your buyers, win deals over because they're like blown away. When we can close a deal in 21 days, we can close a deal in 30 days, even in this TRID environment. I mean, we are seeing huge successes and huge wins. I mean, and I think that our reputation is it's out there. It's getting better. It's getting better and better and better.
So we're talking about, what does the marketplace look like? How many buyers are out there? How many sellers? What is the activity level? We just had a seller just yesterday ask us, should we put our home on the market? Look, all I know is we've sold 50 homes so far this year. We've put 50 homes under contract this year. There is a robust marketplace. We're in San Diego County, okay? I don't know what goes on in Maine or in Kansas or Nebraska or in North Dakota or South Dakota. I don't know what goes on in those markets, but here in San Diego County, we have a year-round market. And when you have a year-round market, what you need to know isn't what day of the month does it say on the calendar. You don't need to know if the calendar tells you that it's June or that it's May or January or December. You don't have to know that. What you have to know is, what does the absorption rate look like in my neighborhood? Well, how many homes have come for sale and have successfully sold versus those that are just still sitting? What does the current supply and demand look like? Those are the questions you need to know. And then you need to have a strategy that can help you use buyer psychology in your favor to create a negotiating advantage. You need to have a strategy that can help you capture the entire marketplace of buyers for a home like yours, and then strategically funnel it into a grand opening event where you're certain, where you are absolutely certain to get the answer from the market because you actually have the market present. Amazing how logic works. If you get the market there, you'll get a full market value. If you get the market there, you'll get full feedback from the market, feedback you can trust and move forward with. But Todd, what happens when you just have individual private viewings of your home, like what every other agent will do for you?
You don't bring the market to the. You're not bringing the market to the product,
and you cannot trust what you're told. If you get an offer, you don't know if it's the best offer.
You don't know if it's market.
If you don't know if it's a market offer,
right.
You only know it's an offer from that person.
Right.
If you get feedback, what are you supposed to do? Change the price and paint your house, and you just
based
switch
on one
everything
person
up?
walking around the house
Every time
Absolutely
someone
not.
makes a comment?
No.
You can't change everything every time someone makes a comment about your home. So you're paralyzed and not being able to take action.
Right.
Give us a shout if you're buying or selling or if you're refinancing. We have strategies to get in place, everything you're looking to do. And by the way, I'm going to leave you with one last tidbit. Please, for whatever it's worth, because we just experienced this one also with a seller, do not, under any circumstances ever, sign a listing agreement with an agent that will not give you an ironclad cancellation clause right up front in writing in the initial agreement. You cannot be somebody's hostage, and we see that far too often.
Too often.
The number to call if you want to connect with us is 800-676-2420. We're going to go celebrate the rest of the day here on our 52nd episode and our 1-year anniversary. It's been great. This is Real Estate Exposed. Daniel Beer Group, Todd Pianin at Home Street Bank. The number one more time is 800-676-2420.
Home Street Bank, a member of the FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS ID number 304014. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came down in the hollow, playing a new game, laughing